Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. Today we want to take a look once again at the lightning LaLo strategy, but this time we want to take a look at kind of like an in-depth guide, which basically means after this video you guys hopefully are masters of this strategy and are perfectly able to not only place the lightning spells, not only play your heroes, but as well play the LaLo, because I saw so many comments of you guys asking like, how do you do this strategy on a base with the center town hall? How do you do this strategy? How do you play this LaLo and so on? And we will talk about all of this today. How this video works is, first off, we take a look at an attack, and after that we're going to analyze this attack. We're starting off with this base, which is kind of a well-known base, but to be honest, it's perfect for the example of having a centered town hall. So what you normally try to go for is, first off, take a look at the lightning, which is normally around the clan castle, and when you have like certain buildings next to it, like a scatter shot, an eagle, and things like that, you can just go for the zaps because it's most of the time enough value. So that's what we're doing over here, placing the earthquake that we're hitting the inferno tower as well, which is nice, then sniping the first outside hero with our royal champion, and then the headhunter as well, and then doing that the same but with a heavier entry onto the enemy royal champion. As soon as we did that, it should be looking pretty good overall, but let's take a look if we actually get what we want to go for, because our king is going in, queen is going in behind. So far it's looking good. We still have our queen ability, but she's taking a lot of damage from the two scatter shots, now using the queen ability, and she should get both scatters out of the way, and that's kind of the main objective. The next thing what we're going for is just the LaLo. And like I said, as soon as this attack is over, we take a look at a little bit more about how many loons should we place on which defense and so on. So what we're doing over here, we're starting the LaLo. The LaLo should go to the bottom side because of this gap which our royal champion created at the top side, which is awesome. Now the haste to make sure that the loons are getting out of the range of the inferno tower. And at this point I noticed I completely messed up, because normally at this point you want to have a blimp to get the town hall, because that's kind of the secret to deal with those center town halls. But, well, I don't know, like, I didn't really save up the blimp, which is really unfortunate over here. So that's kind of stupid. So what you normally should have done is sending the blimp for the town hall, but I will explain that a little bit better in a second. For now, we have to save this attack because, well, the plan was a bit different from what we're actually doing right now, because now we're sending in the slammer for the multi-inferno tower, and we try to make sure that the dragon and the loons out of the slammer are actually getting the sweeper, because this sweeper is hella annoying, because now we have the center town hall, and we have still a big group of loons left. Like, don't get me wrong, the LaLo part was super clean, with the only problem kind of that, well, a couple of loons now have the nice pleasure to fly into the town hall explosion, but that should be alright. Now the haste and now the freeze for the town hall. And I explain one more time in a second why exactly I did what I did. My loons are going to die now, but because we did such a good job on the LaLo pathing and everything, it's still going to be a triple no matter what. So I will explain now to you guys how you can triple basically any ring base or any base where you have the town hall in the center, because there are a couple of things you can do except for getting the blimp, because that's pretty important, that you make sure that you have every single siege machine, especially the slammer and the blimp. Those two are the key siege machines to use in a zap or like lightning LaLo attack, because it's those are just key, and that you can switch in between of those two. I messed up a little bit with my army, I guess, with not having the blimp selected, but still, we tripled this base even though we did a mistake. So it kind of highlights how good our entry was, and I will break that down for you guys a little bit better so you can understand that. So whenever you're getting into an attack, in your head, you have to start off with the searching for the clan castle and thinking about if you get enough value out of the zaps from the clan castle. So on this one, we have the clan castle right next to our to the enemy eagle, which is like 99.9% of the time enough value to zap the clan castle and the eagle. There are really rarely any situations where it's not enough value, but normally it is. So we're going to zap all of this. which first off is creating like a really nice pathing for the later stages. But first off, we do not need to worry anymore about the clan castle and about the eagle, which is huge at this point. Then the next thing, as soon as we did that, and as soon as this kind of like part of the base is taken out, we have to think about what do we do with our heroes. We have 3 heroes overall, which means king, queen, and royal champion, which we want to find value for in the beginning of the attack. So what you're doing on attack like this, where you are planning to use the blimp for the town hall, which basically means your dragon is out of the way. Like your dragon can't kill any heroes anymore, which means you want to go for as many heroes as possible. And by heroes, I mean queen and the royal champion. Those are kind of the key defensive heroes when you're playing like a LaLo attack. So on this one, it's kind of you have to face one of the heroes, one of the queen or the the queen or the royal champion with your own royal champion in combination with the headhunter, and the other one where you think the value is better, which is like this double scattershot compartment or like this double scattershot power. You have to get into that with your king and queen because that's kind of the deeper dive, if you want to like call it like this, into the base. So that's what I decided for. Let's play that through really quickly, and then we talk about the LaLo part, because so many of you guys said, I have problems with the LaLo. For me, it's not the problem to find like the right Sui and everything, or like the right lightning location. It's all about the LaLo, and I want to talk about that today as well. So this video is not only like a lightning LaLo guide, but as well like how you play actually like a LaLo attack. So far I got everything I wanted to get. Now the next part is the LaLo part, which is kind of key over here. So you have to find a beginning, which is kind of starting off with the sweepers. So both sweepers are pointing towards the right, kind of the right side of the base. And you guys can see as well, if you're starting off from the left side, this path for the LaLo is kind of the best over here, which we could go for. But now obviously the question is, how do we drop the LaLo? Like how many loons on which defense and so on. So on a LaLo part, it's pretty key that you know how many loons are needed for which defense. So when you're doing a Zap LaLo, you should most of the time have like 3 loons on each defense. That's kind of like the overall thing which you should count for. The next thing is your goal is that your main group of loons, which is most of the time the first group of loons which you're sending in, is never ever backtracking. That's really important. So on this one, for example, we have 3 group of loons. If I would have just sent in 2, for example, they would have backtracked to the archer tower. But instead what I'm doing, I'm sending in on every single defense 1 group of loons. And this pathing is kind of created. Which means for us, we have to make sure that this group, which is now created, or like got created in the beginning of the attack, is never backtracking. As soon as you did that, already like a big majority of the LaLo part is accomplished. So now it's all about not backtracking. This is why I'm sending in always small groups of loons from the outside. For example, on this cannon, because my loons, my first big group, would have backtracked to this cannon to make sure, like since they just target the next defensive building, so they would have backtracked, and this is why I'm sending in the next group on the outside. Then the next thing on the outside is at the 6 o'clock side, the archer tower and the cannon, which I'm going to take out, so my main group can just like keep pushing forward. That's kind of your main objective, to have your main group of loons always pushing forward in a straight line. And the only thing which you're doing is always sending in more group of loons, smaller groups obviously, from the outside. Like I said, the rule of like the normal rule is something like you want to have on every single defense around about 3 loons. Obviously on wizard towers you need 3 loons. On things like archer towers, mortars, or for example like the air defense, it's enough if you sometimes just send in 2 loons. A cannon, for example, once again needs 3 loons to get 1 shot. So those numbers, you need to know them. But on a like lightning LaLo attack, normally you can always send 3 because you have tons of loons overall. So on this one, like I said, we had to kind of save this one because we did not have the blimp, and yeah, that's kind of the thing. One more time, the LaLo pathing which I just created, and you always saw there are groups from the outside coming into the like first majority group, and if you can get done this, then you got already like 90% of the LaLo mastered. But it looks easier than it's done. But let's take a look at the next page. On this, boys, we have more like this off-centered town hall, which means it's way easier to get into the town hall. And now like a small trick. I wasn't really sure if I could zap the queen and both, like all of the buildings over there. And when you're waiting for the enemy queen to come back, the queen, or like the time it takes the queen to walk around the entire like platform of her, takes round about 20 seconds. So sometimes you can just take the time, rethink if you want actually go for the zap, and then do it. So that's something which is really helpful. Now the zap, which worked perfectly, I got the queen and the clan cast and the scatter, which is awesome. And now I'm sending in the king and the royal champion. The royal champion is basically just to push the queen into the right direction. That's the only purpose she has. And now the wall break in, king is getting used, like king ability is getting used. And now my next thing is kinda either get the town hall or the royal champion. That would be awesome. Meanwhile, I forgot to use my royal champion. God damn it. Or like the ability of her. Now the barbarians are tanking, which is awesome for our queen, obviously. Now the queen is taking out all of those buildings over there. I used both headhunters because, well guys, I need those headhunters to take out the enemy queen or the enemy royal champion, and we took both out, so I can use all of that. The next nice thing is my queen is wrapping around the wall, going for the tunnel. We can use her ability, and now she's even getting, next to the tunnel obviously, she's even getting the sweeper, which is awesome. Now we can get started with the LaLo. First off, the hound. I'm really not paying attention where my hound is flying because it's flying to the left, which is not really the best thing to happen, but I'm still keep going. And now I'm just having once again the same objective as the last time, protecting my main first group. And this is kind of what I'm doing over here. So just sending in small group of loons from the outside into the to protect the main group over here. And this is so far working really well. Now the more groups of loons from the bottom side, minions in behind. The warden is, or like overall the eagle is targeting my loons, so I'm using the warden ability to protect them. And now just like use all of my spells, and this is looking pretty damn good for us. We still have two more haste, one more freeze, using one of the haste, and this is looking damn good for us. The dragon is still alive. Now the freeze on the backhand, still more, like one more haste, and this should be the next triple for our video. So one more time, you guys might wonder, how was this such a big overkill? Obviously, we got a lot of value with our heroes. Like I said, a big thing is the enemy, is taking out the right amount of enemy base, so like take out the correct location of the enemy base. But obviously, the LaLo is, as you guys said, not too easy as well, which basically means we can one more time discuss this attack in like the endless power. Now we'll show you guys one more time what was my approach to the space, what was the thinking I had going into this attack, and kind of what was the main objective with our LaLo and why I actually chose this side, because that's kind of the next topic. Where should you start your LaLo? What is that what you should think about? So meanwhile, we have the last couple of seconds going into this attack, and this means this base is tripled, so nice and easy. Now let's take a look at the beginning one more time. So first off, we once again have to start off with the lightning spells, because that's always the start of the attack. On this base, once again, we have to think about, is this enough value to make sure that we're actually zapping or like lightning this location of the base? And over here, I'm kind of thinking one more time, like having in my head this lightning pattern kinda. So what I'm thinking over here, if you have 3 buildings in a line, it's always working that you can zap or like lightning all of those 3 buildings. And if you use the lightning spell in the middle of the middle building, then you can zap or like lightning everything, which is perfect. And the enemy queen is just stepping right on top of this X, which is leaving the perfect location for lightning all of that. And now it's all about using the king and the royal champion and with the queen perfectly. And one of the main objectives I always go for is the enemy town hall. I feel like the enemy town hall is such a big building on a LaLo attack, because when you're taking the town hall down, you have so much freedom with your warden ability, and the warden ability can be so clutch, like again, scatter shots, eagle shots, any wizard towers, red mine farms, things like that. It's super helpful. So what I'm doing over here, I'm trying to get into the town hall. Obviously, my choice is either from the left or from the right. My choice is in the end going to the left because the enemy royal champion is over there as well. Which means if it's really unlucky and I'm not getting the town hall, I would at least get the enemy headhunter, the enemy royal champion. So what I'm doing over here is kind of using once again like the simple techniques of using the Barbarian funnel, like Barbarian King funnel, which means I use him on the top corner of this building. Then he's walking to the top side. I'm even funneling on the left side with my baby dragon, the Royal Champion in as well. Like I said, I missed her ability because I'm just stupid, I guess. But yeah, the main objective of the Royal Champion was, like I said, just to take down those buildings, like the Warden, to make sure that my queen is walking to the right direction. Now my queen is walking into this like kind of strange looking channel to reach all of those defenses, which is awesome for us. And then as soon as she's facing those skeletons which are just coming up, as soon as she's standing over in this corner, the next building is going to be the town hall, which is lucky for us because this means she's wrapping around the corner, going for that town hall. Everything is awesome for us. So at this point, now even the sweeper is getting taken out, which is making things even better for us. But now one more time, let's take a look at the LaLo. Where would you start at this point? One option is kind of going from the bottom side, but you have the sweeper pointing in that direction, which makes things kind of risky. And at the other side as well, you want to have like a wide entry with your LaLo because it's kind of different than, for example, hybrid or like mass hawk riders, whatever, where you have like a really nice slim path, like really nice pathing. It's different with LaLo. With LaLo, you can have like really wide entry because you have so many different groups of loons. So what I'm doing over here one more time is having the main group, which is starting at the top left side with our like 6 loons over there, starting off, and then once again sending in group of loons to make sure we have a really straightforward pathing for our first group of loons. And this is what I'm trying to create, because you guys can see in the background, like behind my drawing, the first group of loons is straight going into the Fern Tower. Then the next group of loons from the right side are pushing in to make sure that my main group of loons is still going, still pushing forward without backtracking. And now I'm using the slammer at the bottom side with a couple of more loons to make sure that I can actually create this pathing even better. Now you guys can see I have a huge group of loons in the middle of the base, which can just smash that base because there's nothing left anymore, and they do not backtrack. Like I said, this is the main objective of any LaLo attack, that you have your groups of, like your main group of loons always pushing forward. As soon as your loons are backtracking, you lost the momentum and you might run the risk of the loons going to the outside of the base and never coming back inside because of a sweeper or whatever. So this is how you play LaLo. I hope it was super helpful for you guys to do it on your own, because I think LaLo is one of the most difficult things. Keeping track of all of those different groups is not the easiest, and at the same time you have to drop spells and everything, which is not that easy either. So it's kind of like a complicated army. Like I said, you need to make sure that you keep practicing it. And I can promise you, you won't have great success in the beginning most of the time because, well, it's a strategy which takes time to practice and to learn. Then one more thing, tomorrow there will be no video because, well, as you guys see right now, like on my forehead, it's so freaking hot right now in Germany, and I will be on a like boat tour kind of with my father tomorrow. So I can't really pre-record anything at the moment because if I would just like die in the heat at the moment. So that is why there's no video tomorrow. But I will see you guys back on Wednesday. Yes, on Wednesday. And well, see you guys then. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in 2 days. Until then, see ya and bye bye.